Hey, so you're thinking about adding a bathroom in your basement? That's an awesome upgrade, but it comes with this really tricky physics problem that you might not expect. Today, we're going to talk about the super clever, unsung hero that solves it all, the sewage ejector pump. I mean, really think about that for a second. How do you flush a toilet that's below the main sewer line for your house? Wastewater doesn't exactly like to travel uphill by itself. It's a real head-scratcher for sure, but the solution is just brilliant. Okay, let's get into it. The number one rule for pretty much all home plumbing is super simple: gravity, right? Everything flows downhill, out of your house, into the sewer. But the second you put a toilet or a shower in the basement, you've suddenly put it below the main drain. And just like that, gravity is no longer your friend, it's actually working against you. This is the perfect way to picture the problem. Your whole house's plumbing system is like a gentle, sloping hill. Easy. But that awesome new basement bathroom, well, it's sitting in a valley at the very bottom of that hill. So how in the world do you get waste from the bottom of the valley all the way back up to the top? Well, you build an elevator. And honestly, that is the best way to think about a sewage ejector pump. It's this powerful, specialized pump that's basically a mini elevator just for wastewater. Its whole job is to lift everything up to where gravity can finally take over again. This thing is literally what makes basement bathrooms possible.
And let's look at the official definition here. See how it's not just for water? It's designed specifically for sewage and heavily contaminated water. That's the whole ball game right there. This machine is built tough enough to handle not just liquids, but also solid waste and toilet paper. That is its one and only purpose.
So we get it, it's a wastewater elevator. But what's really going on inside this thing? How does it know when to kick on and do its job? It's actually pretty cool. Let's take a look inside the tank.
It's a super simple and really reliable four-step cycle. First, everything from your basement fixtures, the toilet, the sink, it all flows into this sealed tank. As you use them, the water level inside starts to rise. Now, step 3 is the magic moment. There's a float switch inside, kind of like the one in your toilet tank, and it rises with the water. Once it hits a set level, bam, it triggers the pump. The pump activates and powerfully pushes all that waste up and out into your main sewer line. Then the tank is empty, the float drops back down, and the pump shuts off, just waiting for the next time. All right, you're going to want to pay close attention here because this is, without a doubt, the number one point of confusion for homeowners. People hear pump in the basement, and they almost always think of a sump pump. But these two pumps do totally different jobs, and trust me, mixing them up is a recipe for disaster. And I'm not exaggerating here. The consequences are really serious. We're talking major clogs, total system failure, and just unsafe conditions. Trying to make a sump pump do a sewage ejector's job will end in a very messy, very expensive, and seriously unpleasant situation. This chart breaks it down perfectly. On the left, you've got the sump pump. Its job is to handle groundwater, rainwater, seepage, to keep your basement from flooding. It deals with relatively clean water. But on the right, the sewage ejector pump, its whole purpose is to handle sewage. That means human waste, toilet paper, all the solids. So, to put it simply, one is for clean water, the other is for solid waste. Big difference. Okay, so whether you're about to install one of these systems or maybe you already have one, what are the key things you need to know? To make sure it runs right and keeps you out of trouble for years. Let's run through a quick guide. If you're picking out a pump, rule number 1, no exceptions, make sure it is rated for solid waste. Next, you need to check the discharge head. That's just a fancy term for how high it can pump. You have to make sure it's powerful enough to lift waste from your basement floor all the way up to that main sewer pipe. Obviously, it needs to match your pipe size, and for some extra peace of mind, you might want to look at a model with a high-level alarm. It'll give you a warning if the water gets too high before you have a real problem.
Now, once it's in, the good news is maintenance is pretty simple. Every so often, it's a good idea to have a pro take a peek inside the tank and just make sure that float switch is moving freely. If you have an alarm, test it. And this is the big one. Treat it just like any other toilet in your house. Don't flush anything that isn't human waste or toilet paper. Even these super powerful pumps will have a bad day if they have to deal with so-called flushable wipes, paper towels, or anything else that doesn't belong.
And I think that quote just perfectly captures the magic of this thing. The sewage ejector pump is what takes that dream of a basement bathroom and makes it a reality. It's this powerful, reliable piece of engineering working silently behind the scenes, solving one of plumbing's toughest challenges, and truly defying gravity one flush at a time.